first opening day start.
Glasnow for the Rays. Radar gun is going to be popping.
Well, Tyler Glasnow could not be much better than he has been tonight through 6 innings.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
That slider becoming the go-to after the fastball.
8th strikeout for Tyler Glasnow.
It has been a great pitching performance from Tyler Glasnow. He gets a great hand.
The hook.
Tyler Glasnow is able to work through and keep his team in the lead.
Oh, we are thrilled to be joined by Tyler Glasnow. What a treat. Tyler, good morning to you. First second he popped on the screen, what'd you say?
I mean, I'm a pretty confident guy. I don't like to change places with too many people.
Yeah?
I ran into him at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, 6'7", amongst the sea, this gorgeous human being, and he's just waving at me. I'm like, man, 24 hours, I'd like to know what it feels like to be Tyler Glasnow.
Tyler, what does it feel like to be Tyler Glasnow?
I don't know. You just see over people, I guess, maybe like that. I don't know. A lot of people ask you how tall you are. All the standard tall people questions, you know.
D-Rose says you can't protect your family if you're under 200 pounds. Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
I think it depends on how versed you are in maybe like some martial arts or something, but or how bad you want it. You know, who knows?
That's a good point, Tyler. I like to dabble a little bit in the
yes, he does.
In the pugilistic arts, Lauren. So even though I am below 200, Tyler, if you get feeling froggy.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I could see it.
Hey, Tyler, answer me this. You guys finished on like what seems you've been on the road for a month, and now you're going to get rolling here with Cleveland. How did you pack for this?
Not well. I came from AAA, so I've had like 4 pairs of pants and like not that much. I've just been taking my suitcase into the clubhouse and doing laundry and stuff.
Are you
and
really?
Then, wow. Yeah, stopping by some places, grabbing some clothes. It's fun. I'm like so used to it, just being in the minor leagues, and I really don't mind kind of living that type of lifestyle.
Well, I said you can do your laundry at the hotel, and Dira looked at me like I was an alien, and he said, no, you buy new stuff.
Yeah.
Is that the truth?
I think it's like a mix of both. I don't want to sound cheap either, but like just the principle of how much laundry is at the hotel is shocking. It's It's like a shirt is $10, a collar is like $15.
He's right.
It's fine, but like I'm all right.
Yeah, he's
cool
right about that.
No thanks.
Now, Tyler, are you, when you're having to shop for these new garments, is it strictly big and tall? I mean, what are we looking here? I mean, I can't
like Calvin.
He can't buy off the rack.
Yes, he can.
There's like, you find like certain places you can go. I guess to like a standard, if you need something quick, you go to like a Nordstrom's and then just kind of, there's like certain brands that have like long fitting pants, but shirts I'm generally okay, but shoes and pants I'm not.
Yeah.
All right.
Usually.
Who do people tell you look like?
Cillian Murphy. Is it Killian or Cillian? I think it's
Killian Murphy, and that's an excellent call. That is a striking resemblance. Lauren has long maintained that there is a Willy Wonka,
you are a
Gene
handsome,
Wilder.
a very handsome.
And let me assure you, Tyler,
handsome.
she is the only one that thinks you look like Gene Wilder. Okay.
Okay.
That is without a doubt. So please don't be offended by that. It's just Lauren.
Gene Wilder's a phenomenal actor. I guess this isn't like a skill-based comparison, but I'll find some compliments
at
there.
the top of your game. Take it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, take me through it, right? You're going to probably get the Game 2 start here. How fired up are you? How long a road back was it for you? Take me into your darkest moments, and then now a chance to kind of recapture glory for the Rays.
Yeah, I think going into it, I think early on in the beginning of the season, it was like, there's no chance you're going to, like, you're basically just working towards getting healthy so you can pitch the following year. And I kind of mapped it out in my head and was like, I think it's around like 14 months when playoffs. And I was like, if the timetable's 12 to 15, I'm like, I think my chances are pretty good. And I ended up having my ankle scoped. And I think that's when they were like, all right, let's just kind of call it off. But my progression had been so well. And I got the hybrid surgery. I got like the reconstruction with that new collagen brace. So I think in my mind, I don't know if the science backs it up, but I was like, double strong. It's fine. Like I'll be okay. And I think as I was throwing bullpens and doing stuff and working out, like my soreness level compared to when I wasn't healthy, it was night and day. And I was like, well, if I could go pitch 88 innings with like a failing ligament, I feel like how good I feel now and how I'm recovering and how I'm bouncing back. It's been the best it's felt in so long. So that's kind of
So it wasn't one pitch, and you felt this was kind of a progression to TJ?
Yeah. So it was against the Orioles in 19. I threw a changeup. It was like 95, and I got in like the film is like weird. I got really under it. I like tried to pronate it really early, and that's when I initially did it. But there wasn't enough pain to make me, and I was still throwing hard when I'd come back and pitch in games. So it was like if you're throwing hard, your ligament's stable enough to like as long as there's not like excruciating pain, you can pitch if your velo's still there. So I kept doing that every year, and it got tougher and tougher each start, and then finally in 21 I was like, all right, I gotta figure this out. And the MRIs never changed. It was like, you're fine, your ligament looks relatively intact. And then when they went in, they found that it was like unattached on the bone, so it just wasn't something that you could see on an MRI. But yeah, it was always something I was able to do. I was able to like throw hard, my stuff was still fine, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, it just started, it was finally time to get it done, and I'm glad I did, because now it's like I completely forgot what it was like. So for the 3 years, it was so uncomfortable. Now I'm like, wow, it's nice to have something in there, like keeping my elbow together.
Yeah. Do you lift weights? Do you run? Tell us about your diet, all of it.
Yeah. I've had the same 5-day for quite a bit of time. I'd say off season, I do like a lot more lifting, but in season, it's like a full body lift or a lower body post day. And then the following day, it's upper body with like a mixed cardio.
Classic circuit. Classic circuit.
Yeah, like normal stuff, then bullpen day, and then like a light day, and then just the same. It's pretty standard, I'd say, for like a starter. I'd say maybe, I don't know. I like to do like a good amount. I think it helps me as far as like the longevity in season and like.
Are you running stadiums?
No, I'm not a big. I used to run a lot. Like I used to do. I try to, if I am in a run, I'll try to keep it to like quick burst sprints, but I'm a big like elliptical and bike junkie, and then like lifting is mostly what I like though. Like is probably my bread and butter.
Yeah, Tyler has a really good video on his Instagram account about that takes people through his day routine after a start. So I urge you to check it out. I also heard you say, Tyler, that your personality was so closely tied to baseball that when when baseball was great, you were great. But that when baseball wasn't so great, same thing. So how have you navigated your way, and what have you discovered about yourself through these last couple of years?
I think it was like more of like putting in an effort to like not make baseball everything, I guess. I think I was so up and down with it that I was like, I gotta figure something else out here. Like, I think it was just trying to find the things that I enjoyed outside of baseball, not being so like one-track mind in season. It gets really tough. I'm just like, D-Row, you can probably understand this. It's just
I'm feeling you right now.
It's so like, it's all you kind of, there's not much like, you can find stuff to do outside of the field, but every player always says like, well, I don't want to do too much because I have to play today and I'm tired. And I think it was just finding that balance of like living a normal life, like pretending I'm not a baseball player and trying to find things to do while mixing in like, obviously this is my job and I have to do it. But it was just, as long as I'm like in a nice balance between like not giving baseball like absolutely everything and then also not giving it enough, like it's just somewhere in the middle there. And it's always like a up and down roller coaster in season, but I just think if you can kind of zoom out and give yourself like a bigger perspective of like life as opposed to baseball, like it's just like, it's not the end of the world if things don't go well in one start.
It's so funny you say that. You come from a very athletic family. I wonder, like, my dad was baseball through and through. I remember him coming to Chicago when I was playing for the Cubs, and I went 0 for 4, 2 punch-outs. I got in the car, and I was like, where are we going for dinner? What are we doing? And he's like, what? Like, we're not going anywhere. Like, and he couldn't understand. I'm like, Dad, if I consume myself with the day-to-day, like it's taken me 33 years to figure this out. Like, I have to be okay failing a little bit. I wonder, take me back, like being in an athletic family, your brother was a decathlete, your mom was a gymnast, I think. Your father was was he tough on you, or did he understand kind of the trials and tribulations of it?
No, I think he didn't play baseball. So I think it was at a certain point when I was younger and I would throw, like we'd go outside and like play catch outside, or I always was like very wild as a kid, and I would walk like a bunch of people in a game, and he'd be like, I don't understand how you can hit the same spot in the dirt 5 times, but you can't just throw it a little higher in the strike zone. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, I don't know. It's tough. Like,
I'm
he
not
was the same
trying,
way.
Dad. I promise.
Yeah, like this is tough. And then I think as I got older, it was like, all right, dude, you don't play baseball. But like it's always out of love. And like I was always able to take stuff like mentality wise or like work ethic wise. Like I was always very receptive to that. But I think when it was like any specific sort of baseball, I was like, all right, I got it. I got this on my own. Don't worry about it. Like
Tyler, you used to frustrate me. I remember you got called up with the
myself,
Pirates, and you would be like, boom, 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 and then hit like Nuke LaLoosh type stuff. And I'm like, man, if this dude ever figures it out, it's going to be scary. But I thought you were going to kill somebody before you figured it out.
Yeah, there was a couple games where I thought I was going to kill somebody too. I remember the Phillies game. I think I hit Cameron Rupp in the head and Aaron Nola, like very close. And their whole dugout was like, dude, if you can't throw strikes, like get off the mound. And I was just like very young. It was overwhelming. And I think that was kind of, obviously it's never intentional, but I think as you as you get more reps, like physically and mentally you become more comfortable. And I think it's more about just like proprioceptively, like understanding where my body is in space. I was like 6'7", like I was like finishing puberty. Like it was just such a weird, like, it was just strange. And I think it's gotten easier over time.
So what was the turning point for you? I mean, it sounded like you're barely keeping your head above water. Who helped you, and what was the moment that you feel like kind of like that light bulb moment?
I think in 2018, before I got traded, I think I started to understand, like, I don't need to try to, I think this goes for a lot of teams and a lot of young guys. Like when you're setting up like 0-0 on the corner. So I would just try to throw like each heater perfectly low and away or whatever. And then I'd be 1-0. And then I throw a curveball 46 feet, I'm 2-0. And then now everyone in the stadium knows the fastball is coming. And I'm still struggling with location. And I'm just setting up on the corners and trying to be Greg Maddux. And I can barely throw strikes. So I think it was someone in another organization actually, who was like very analytically like inclined, basically said, your stuff is so good and you have good carries, set up down the middle and just try to go up and down. Stop trying to go left and right. And so I was like, wow, that's pretty smart. And then I immediately got traded to the Rays a week later, and everything they said, basically, like they went deeper into it. And sitting down with Kyle and understanding, like, you have good stuff. If you're confident and you can throw strikes, you just need to get ahead. It doesn't really matter where it is in the zone. And at the time too, it was like, it's going to be better than what you're doing now. So just try it. Like, and that helped me a lot. I think too, just the change in atmosphere and change in teams. I think I'd been typecasted kind of with the Pirates, and like you get put into like a nook of like, okay, this kid mentally can't figure it out. He's all over the place. You know what I mean? And I think I went to another organization and almost felt like nobody knew me and I could like reinvent myself, and I wasn't this kid anymore. And they gave me a lot of confidence. I guess I was in the bullpen just kind of melting away with Pittsburgh. And then they said, Eric called me, he was like, you're starting tomorrow. So it was like, wow, these dudes want me to start. This is kind of awesome. And I had a good first one and a good second one. I think the biggest thing too is like, whether it's a mentality shift or not, it's once you start doing well, you get like a little confidence boost, and then you can ride that out. And then it kind of puts everything into perspective.
Wow. Tyler, I went to the Trop for the very first time. D-Row has described what it's like to play there for opposing players. How would you describe it?
I think for me, it's kind of home. Like I came from Pittsburgh and started pitching there. So I have like a good feeling with it. As far as how the mound is set up and how it feels to pitch, I really enjoy it. It's obviously not the most lively atmosphere. I think it's in like a weird location for a lot of people to get to, but you do as a player with the Rays feel like there's a lot of love around Tampa for you. I think like our TV deals are good. I know that there's a lot of viewership. I just think with location and the stadium being like relatively old, I don't think a lot of people show up. It's great in the playoffs, but I definitely think it's a stadium that I can do well in, because for me, if I'm in like the GCL doing a live BP, or if I'm in AAA, or if I'm in, I kind of always can I care a lot about doing well. So for me, I can always get up and try to get my stuff. And I don't think my stuff really deviates with adrenaline, but I can see it's probably pretty tough for away teams, and that's fine by me.
Are you are you a beach guy like Tampa? What are you doing on an off day? You getting a base tan, or are you doing something a little bit different?
So like when I was injured, I think the hardest part about it was finding things to do. So I would go to the beach all the time. I would go a bunch. And then there's like this boat club service there where you can like rent out blocks of time for a boat, and there's a dock by my house. So I would just go on the boat a lot. And then I'd go up to Tampa. I'd come back and watch the games a lot. It was basically that, like a lot of beach, a lot of boats, and then a lot of baseball.
Tyler, you mentioned the Trop, and I feel like, you know, for baseball fans around the country, the Rays are that plucky little underdog team. They play in a stadium that's kind of unique, and sometimes it's filled, sometimes it's not. For the playoffs, you know it's going to be loud. What do we not know about the Rays, or what's something that should be discussed more about your organization and your team and your teammates?
I don't know if it's. I think the reason people are able to come up and succeed so quick is I think they become like, when you come from other organizations, not knocking other organizations. I don't know how to like run an organization, but I think there's so much like the unwritten rules and like certain things you can or can't do. I think a lot of times young guys get called up and they're more worried about like not stepping on anyone's toes, or they're worried more about like, how am I perceived, or like, am I doing everything right? Like, am I wearing the right type of pants on the flight and stuff? And the Rays, I think to the outside perspective, I think people could be like, well, if you just let players do what they want, like people will just start to like, there's no rules and no structure, no anything. But when you get to this level, it's like everyone here has worked so hard to get to, no one's like going to throw it away. Just like, so there's no like hierarchy or rules that you need to follow. I think if you're doing something the team can kind of get to, if they don't like it, I think it's more of people being like, don't do that. But there's no rules. Like, you come up and you're really, really comfortable. And I think most guys who come up here, I've had multiple conversations with people from other organizations that will be like, is this like real? Is this like a weird, or like, are we just in like a strange time? I'm like, no, this is how it is. So you're just able to be yourself and kind of do what you want. And there really are no rules other than be a good teammate and be on time. Those are the two things that Cash says.
So the rookies don't sing on the bus?
No, we still do that.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
No, that's not true. No,
you don't have to treat them like dirt, but I'd like to see you sing.
I don't think the last 2 years we've done that. We did 3 years ago. We still do like rookie dress up, but there's no.
I like that.
There's no. I don't think they do the singing or anything anymore. No, because that's tough for some people. Like, I get you trying to like be vulnerable and let people kind of put their guard down, but I think sometimes it's a little uncomfortable for guys. So, but no, yeah, it's like a comfortable atmosphere for guys.
If you didn't play baseball, what would you do?
Ooh,
good question.
Ooh.
Be an Abercrombie and Fitch model?
I was going to say, have you ever been approached about modeling?
Seriously?
Had to.
Kind of, but that's not. No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't know.
Zoolander.
I'm too tall too. I don't think that's like I'm too large. I don't think I'd fit in the frame very well, especially if it was with someone else. But if I didn't play baseball, I don't know. It depends. Do I have to like? Is money involved? Like, do I have to make a living? Or is it something
you have to support a family.
Probably, I don't know. Probably, I'd love to work in like a startup. I'd say like I think it's similar to baseball in terms of like the culture of you kind of being with people and like creating what the future looks like. I'd say probably try to get early stage startup and like figure out how to like build a company.
He wants to work with Elon Musk.
You're into the techie stuff?
Yeah.
Not really. No, I'm like terrible on my phone. I think more about like just startups in general, but I don't even know like a company or something. But my brother does that. He's like does like business development for startup, and I'm relatively similar to him, and he's very passionate about it, and like just having conversations with him about it sounds cool. Just taking something from like a few employees and building it up. But also that's also on the flip side sounds extremely boring, so I don't know. Like, compared to baseball.
How about just start game 2 in Progressive Field and shove against the Guardians?
Which is
yeah, I'll do that.
He definitely has the stuff to do it. Hey, Tyler, we appreciate you joining us here. Best of luck to you, and best of luck to your Tampa Bay Rays in the postseason. And congratulations on returning from the injury, and we're glad that you're pain-free.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You got it. That's Tyler Glasnow, the Tampa Bay Rays. And we want to thank you for joining us on this MLB Central postseason special as we venture out into the digital world. Enjoy the postseason, and remember, you can catch MLB Central weekdays, Monday through Friday on MLB Network, 9 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining us.